All right, people, what is going on? This is episode 50. Yeah, 50 of the VF cast. It's been almost a month since I did an episode of the VF cast. And I it's just been a lot going on with other content I wanted to do. I just haven't been able to do an actual podcast on this channel, so I do apologize. But with that being said, this is episode 50, and today we're going to talk about some pay to win stuff. Now, I don't really get into any of this stuff. If you know any of my content, I just talk about, gaming, and I talk about some topics that I really find interesting. I don't too much care for this topic, but I really want to talk about the aspect of the mechanics and how does it affect gaming in general. Now that's where I come in, because I want to know if it does it destroy gaming, or does it, because this mechanic is really, it's not unique, it's nothing new, but the pay to win aspect of games is really seeping into a lot of stuff, and I want to talk about it, and I want to give you my 2 cents on how I feel about the effect of it. So if this is your first time here, welcome. This is the VF Cast channel. I am VF Baller. Over here we talk about gaming and everything under that umbrella, whether it's from retro to current. I like to talk mostly retro, and I think you'll understand why when I get into this topic. But long story short, it's just more refreshing to play older games nowadays. But we'll get into that a little bit later. But right now, we all know what's going on with Diablo Immortal. Then it's not necessarily about this particular game per se, but other games that are like this, where games basically want you to feed into the game with your money to get better at it. Now, there's parts of this game, full disclosure, I know that there is a part of this game where you can actually play, and it's a good game. Nobody's saying it's a bad game. It actually has really good gameplay, but it gets to a point where it wants you to continuously feed money into it and to upgrade and level up and all this other stuff. And there's a lot of games that are like that. Now, mind you, this game is on, I think it's on PC and it's on mobile. And most mobile games are like this. Mobile games are built like this. A lot of free to play games that come in, and when you play them, they do want money on the back end because it's a free to play game. And I get that. I would never knock any game to try to make a profit, free or not free. But the thing about the mechanic itself is, it comes to a point where you're shelling out money to get better at the game. Now, this is the part where I feel like it's ruining gaming. It is ruining games to the point where there's not much of a skill to actually be good at certain games, because even though this game has a part of the game where you can play and you can level up, and it gets to a point where you just have to start shelling out money, that aspect you can actually play and have fun. But we already know the end game of it. We already know where it comes to a point where you're going to have to put money in to level up, to be a better, have a better character, have better things and all this other stuff. And that's where the skill gap can really, show its face, because some people may not even want to go through the game and play, and they just want to put money down and just get good all of a sudden. We see this in NBA 2K. We've seen this in Madden Ultimate Team. We've seen this in FIFA. We see this in all these other games where people are not even trying to be good at the game. They just want the top level players, and then all of us, they want to be a top level player, and then all of a sudden they just get, they're just automatically, they're good all of a sudden. I remember the days, and I don't want to sound like an old, old guy that's the get off my lawn type guy, but I remember the days where you actually had to play a game, learn how to get better at it, and as an incentive of being good at the game, you get rewards. And I think that's a art that is long gone. You don't really get that too much. Now, I think one thing about some first person shooters, you get that. And I think that's probably one of the last places where you will continue to see that, where you can get XP by doing well in the game, and you get, perks and stuff like that. I think Battlefield, I'm not saying Battlefield 2042, because, that's another story for another day. But like the old Battlefields, you actually did that. Like Battlefield 5, Battlefield 4, definitely Battlefield 4. Even though they had the premium thing where you can basically pay to win that. But I will say with this, and I don't want to go too far off with Battlefield, even though Battlefield had the premium where you just get all of the weapons, if you didn't do that, you still had a pretty good chance of getting everything that you want by just playing the game. And I think Battlefield 4 had a really good balance of that. And I think there's some companies that should do that. Now, mind you, like I said, Diablo is a pay-to-win game, so I don't expect them, not pay-to-win, but it's a free-to-play game, so I don't expect them to do the same, just do the same thing that Battlefield 4 did. But I feel like if more games did that, it wouldn't be such of an outcry from a lot of people. Now, I know there's some people who shelled out a lot of money to find out what it takes to level up on some of these players, like max them out, which I think is insane. I don't condone that. That money could go somewhere else, but that's what they did. That's their choice. That's what they wanted to do. Now, what I will say about that is, like, the money that you have to put down to do all of that is insane. Is absolutely insane. I've never seen any game. Honestly, I've never seen a game where you had to put down that much money. I think in some cases it was like $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, something like that. I heard somebody put down almost $100,000. I can't remember. I was looking at some videos and it was all over the place. But I feel like, honestly, if you have to put down, and I'm gonna be fair, if you have to put down over $1,000 to level up your team, character, or mechanics, car, vehicle, and I just talked about cars. We just talked about GT7 not too long ago. Jesus Christ, what a game. That game's just been destroyed. But when you put down $1,000, I think that should be the max. And I know that's kind of crazy to think. Okay, a $60 game, $1,000, free to play game, $1,000. That's still a steep price. But when you really think about it, if you really put money down on a game and you want to level up, and sometimes you have to pay the cost to do certain things. And I think $1,000 is right borderline too much. But if I see somebody do that, I kind of understand it. Now, I don't take place in none of this stuff. I like any other Ultimate Team or pay to win or any of that stuff. I never really got into those things, but I see people who do it, and I see people put down, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. I know there was one person who put down. They saved their money, which is smart to do so if you're going to do this. They saved their money. They saved like $3,000 just to get ready for NBA 2K My Team, and I'm like, wow, that's insane. Already, you done paid. I think it was like $100 or something for the premium game. So you got already a lot of VC already. Then you're going to turn on and spend like another $3,000 on a bunch of virtual cards that you will never use after 9 months because the new game comes out. I just never understood it, but some people do it. And if I want to be fair and be generous, I honestly would say, if you're going to put down $1,000, then that's okay. But before I get out of here, I just want to ask the question, is it ruining gaming? Is it ruining games? To an extent, I think it is. I think it's ruining games because the skill level is gone. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't even have to have the skills to pick up a controller, and want to play and learn the game. Some people don't do that anymore. They just feel like it's not even viable to do that. They just get the game, how much money I can put down. Once I do that, I learn the game as I go. Or some people already know the game, but still there's things that are different in some of these games. And they'll just play and learn as they go, but it'll be much easier for them because they already have like the upper hand on everybody else because their team is souped up, their player is godlike, or they have all the weapons or their car's already souped up. So, it's really, the art of gaming is kind of gone away with that. So I think it destroys it from that aspect. Now, I can flip say that it doesn't destroy gaming because it puts people on notice. It makes people aware of what's going on. Now you know that there's some BS going on. Now you know that this game is predatory. Now you know that this game just wants your money, and it's something that you need to be aware of. So that gives people a chance to actually throw some backlash at a lot of these games. And the main thing you can do, you can talk to your blue in the face. You can do what I do and just, well, I don't do this often, but you can just get on a microphone and just continuously talk and talk and talk and talk and talk about this. The main thing you can do is don't participate in any of these games. If you really don't like this type of mechanism of gaming, don't participate in it. Like for me, I will buy a game like, for instance, GT7, Gran Turismo 7. I bought that game on the premise of what I thought was Gran Turismo Sport was going to be. I had no idea that the microtransactions was this bad. Purchasing cars was this bad. So what I've done, I just avoided the game at all costs. Yes, I paid for the game. I think it's a great racer. But if I'm going to play the game based on, just racing, I think that's where I'm gonna be at. As far as shelling out money and buying new cars, I would rather just play the game until I get tired. If I get tired, I feel like I can't play the game no longer, I'm good. Do I feel like I got my money's worth? As of right now, I don't think I did. I think the guys that made Gran Turismo 7 really, you could say to an extent, kind of scammed us. Because Gran Turismo never was this type of game. So I participated in that. Let's say with Madden, if I played Madden, I don't play Ultimate Team. Like any of these games, I don't play in the areas of any of the loot box areas. So this is where I feel like you can win. If you have the desire to play these games, play them at the minimum where you find satisfaction. If you find satisfaction throwing money into these games and leveling up and on, so be it. You know, I'm not knocking anybody who do it. It's just, I just understand that if you're participating in that, are you really gaming? You know what I mean? Are you really playing games? Are you really playing the game if you're just leveling up and just being good all of a sudden because you have a souped up character or whatever the case may be? I don't think, I mean, maybe it is, but I don't think it is. I think gaming comes from you learning the game, getting better at it naturally, getting your hand-eye coordination together, learning the mechanics on your own, finding ways to get better in your own unique way, and being successful at it. Because a lot of people just run around here and want to be the best right away. Does that really mean that you're a real gamer? Because I think gaming takes skill, because I feel like some gamers, if you're able to do well, and I'm not saying you have to win, but if you're able to compete and do well, even with the worst case scenario in the game, I consider you a gamer. Like I know some people who could do very well in Battlefield just by running around a pistol. You know, or some people who can run around because they've just been relegated to a vehicle. I know some people who know how to play Madden pretty well without having the best team. I think that makes you a gamer when you could do more with less on the sticks. Like when you're playing the game, if you can do more with less and you're able to be successful, to give yourself a fighting chance against the CPU or when you're playing against other players, I think that's where you are a gamer in my eyes. So for people like that, I don't think it destroys gaming for them. But I think it destroys gaming as a whole, as a collective, because a lot of casual people aren't necessarily, you know, really good at games. They're just okay. So, and also before I say this, another reason why I think it destroys gaming, because a lot of other companies want to get into this money grab. And they want to get into the money grab to where they want to throw these same type of mechanics up in these games to the point where it destroys the actual game, how good it could be. And in some cases, it destroys games to not even being developed. What was it? I don't know if it was Visceral Games. They was going to make a Star Wars game that was canceled because it didn't have, you know, some live service, pay to win model. They come to find out there was so much backlash on that, they ended up making Jedi, or not Visceral, but EA ended up making Jedi The Fallen Order, and it was so good that they're making a sequel on it. Hey, wait a minute, I thought these type of games don't work. But see, that's what I'm talking about. You just have to have a balance. It's okay if you're going to put these mechanics in certain games, but it just can't be predatory. They just can't be, if it's not a mobile game, it can't be. In my opinion, if it's not a mobile game, it can't be pay to win. If it's mobile and it's free, and let me back that up a second. If it's a mobile free game, I don't mind it being pay to win. You got to make money somehow. But when you start putting these in games that you already have to pay for, then come back and say, hey, we want more of your money, I think that's where it becomes a problem. I think that's where it becomes a real problem. And I think that's something that they need to really look into. But I think that's not going to happen. It's just going to be up to us to just go through the landmines and make sure you don't step on a landmine trying to get the right game for yourself to play. And I think that's what I do at the end of the day. This is one reason why I like to play retro games. I have my retro set up here. I got a few games back here on my old CRT. I just like to play older games because when I pop those games and I play them, I don't have to worry about too much of anything. I can go play a game that looks like Diablo Immortal and I don't have to worry about, all the craziness. Yeah, the gameplay may not be as good as Diablo Immortal, but I don't have a place where I'm just capped at and all of a sudden I have to open my wallet. And I think when people have that sense of mind, they find their own creativity in a game. They have their own immersion of the game, and they walk away with a peace of mind knowing that they don't have to worry about anything predatory on the back end trying to, get them out of their cash. So that's pretty much it for me. I think I went long enough. If you made it this far, I appreciate it. Episode 50. I've done 50 episodes of this podcast. I didn't know when I first started this podcast. I didn't know if I was going to how long it was going to run. And on top of that, I'm doing other content on my other channel, and also doing regular videos over here, and doing reviews on HDMI cords and stuff. I didn't think I was going to make it this far, but I really enjoy doing this, and I thank you guys. There's been an uptick in the subs. I can't thank you guys enough. It just shows that people are interested in what this channel is about, and that's really, really cool. It's really cool to see that we have a collective of people want to understand what the VF Cast is about, the voice of a gamer, and that's all it is. It's just my voice, just talking about games. And I don't usually talk about stuff like this, but I felt like we needed to talk about it. I usually talk about, just regular games in general, and just enjoying games. There's nothing wrong with that. I love video games. I've been loving video games since the 80s, and it's something that I will continue to, talk about and expand upon, as long as I, continue to, do this, so hopefully you guys enjoyed all of this. I really appreciate it. If you don't mind, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm going to get ready to do some stuff on my other channel, and probably going to play some games for the rest of the day. All right, y'all. Y'all take it easy. Thank you guys once again. Y'all be blessed. Have a great beginning of your week, and y'all be blessed. Peace.